So this is what Joe Tsai had to say. He is to show people that he's sorry, what's important, and what people miss. Is he only apologized after he was suspended? So again, Joe Tsai still doesn't believe in Kyrie Irving. He still doesn't believe, even after, he had a meeting with Kyrie and he came out and he said that Kyrie, clearly he's not a racist. Clearly he's a good guy and all this stuff. Yet you're still not bringing him back to the team. You're still not bringing him back to the organization. The guy apologized. The guy's done everything you wanted him to do. And yet that's not enough. He met with, the Adam Silver. Adam Silver said it was very productive. He's met with the Players Association. He's done everything you've asked him to do except for that ridiculous 6 criteria list. And you're an organization. His job is to play basketball for your organization. Who cares if, some people don't think that he's there to help your basketball team, right? But the Brooklyn Nets are winning right now. The Brooklyn Nets are out there, and they're having some great success without Kyrie Irving. They've been holding teams to an average of 94 points per game since Vaughn took over. They're one of the best defensive teams since Vaughn took over, and they're playing more fluid, right? When they had Kyrie Irving, they were playing a lot of isolation basketball. Some of that probably is equated to Steve Nash. But regardless, whatever the situation is, like the Brooklyn Nets see Kyrie as unfit and that he is this toxic player and all this stuff, right? Well, if you really believe that, why are you sticking in just kind of handcuffing Kyrie Irving to your franchise? Why not just let him go? Why not just buy him out? Right? I mean, just move on. Be done. Your team is having success. Why would you want, what you perceive to be this dark cloud hanging over your team? You keep saying you want the headlines to get back to basketball, yet all of your decisions show otherwise. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. But what I want to talk about in this video is, should the Lakers just go and get Kyrie Irving? Right? Like, should they just say and call Brooklyn and say, hey, look, you're not going to get anything for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's going to leave after this season. This is what we'll do. We'll give you Russell Westbrook. We'll give you a pick swap in 2 seconds. You get something for that, and then we'll trade you for Kyrie Irving, right? That way, at least they get something. You go get Kyrie Irving now, and Kyrie Irving comes to the team. You still have your 2 firsts, and then you'd still have other assets you could trade. Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn. You could use those to then go and maybe go get another player. My concern with trading for Kyrie Irving is that if it doesn't work out, then you're in trouble, right? Granted, you're basically just swapping Russell Westbrook for Kyrie Irving, which would be a better fit. And if you don't lose your 2 firsts, then I don't think it's the end of the world. It's okay. But the beauty of the Nets buying out Kyrie Irving is you'd get Kyrie for free, and then you could use Russell Westbrook, all of your second-round picks, all of your pick swaps, all of your first-round picks, to then go and trade Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and go get, several pieces, basically revamp the entire roster. But the Lakers got to do something, right? They're currently 2-10. Play the Brooklyn Nets at the time of making this video, could very well be 2-11. And it's not a good trajectory to be heading. And it's like you end up, 2-12, 2-15, your season might be over by the time you're able to do something. Now, their schedule does very much lighten up towards the next week or so. They do play the Nets, and then they got 4 days off, and then it gets really easy for the most part, right? They play Detroit, and then they play the Spurs 3 times in 4 days or something crazy like that. So I imagine that they should be able to beat the Spurs all 3 times, but at least 2 times, and then you probably beat Detroit, so there's 3 more wins. I still don't think 5 wins at this time is really good. I mean, you do have to start somewhere, right, as far as winning goes. But if you go get Kyrie now, it gives you more flexibility, right? Because then you'd have his bird rights to go and sign him to get over the cap if you need to. You have a little more flexibility. What your cap situation is. You know what you need to do to get other pieces next season. You'd still have Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, that could get you a pretty good mid-tier guy, or you could even go do the Spurs deal. That's something that could work. You could go get Jakob Poeltl, and you could go get Josh Richardson to pair with Kyrie Irving. That could be huge, right? Or you could take those 2 and then just go get Myles Turner, right? And now, instead of Myles Turner and Buddy Hield, you would get Myles Turner and Kyrie Irving. Right? And so that could be something that could be really impactful. It doesn't help your wing situation. It doesn't help all of your 3-point shooting situation. But the reason I don't think Buddy Hield and Myles Turner together makes an impact is because, one, Myles Turner doesn't solve a lot of our issues. He'll help with our rebounding, but he's not an elite rebounder, right? He'll definitely make us better defensively. We might have the best defensive front court in the league, but we're having trouble guarding the perimeter. Not only are we having trouble guarding the perimeter, but, again, rebounding, just misassignments. We don't have a scorer, and Buddy Hield is not a scorer, right? He's a shooter, and he's a great shooter, and he's an elite shooter. But unless he's shooting 23s a game and knocking them down at like a 50% clip, he's not going to solve all of our three-point shooting. And I just think we're better off getting a go-to scorer, somebody that can close games, because we're in a lot of these games. We're just not closing these games. Kyrie Irving can be that guy. Kyrie Irving can come in and be that closer, go and get you a bucket. Not just that, but he can go and get a bucket and score throughout. He's a better player than Buddy Hield is. He still provides the three-point shooting, but he provides more scoring overall. So now you get Myles Turner. Anthony Davis gets to shift to the 4. Myles Turner helps with the defense down low. He helps spread the floor, right? He can knock down the 3 ball a little bit. You got him playing some defense down low, blocking shots. But now you got Kyrie Irving operating and being your go-to scorer, right? And that takes pressure off of LeBron James. That takes pressure off of, Anthony Davis. You'd still have guys like Walker. And you're in a good position. Like, you could have a starting 5 of Kyrie Irving, Walker, LeBron, Davis, and Myles Turner, right? And then on top of having Myles Turner, you'd still have, Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, Austin Reeves, all of these guys now kind of resort to that. And you probably still have one first that you could hold on to for maybe next season if you want to do another move, or if you could find some other like little move that could get the deal done, maybe package a couple guys and go get like, a $7 million, $8 million guy, something like that. I don't know. It gives you flexibility. I mean, if you could I would rather have Kyrie Irving and Myles Turner over Myles Turner and Buddy Hield. That's just me personally. I think Kyrie Irving gives you more of an impact than anything else. The thing is, the problem is that, like, Kyrie Irving, like, if you get him on a buyout, obviously you're getting him for like an insanely, like, he might be the best vet minimum deal in NBA history, but the risk isn't there, right? He'd be on a vet minimum, non-guaranteed deal. If it doesn't work, all right, hey, we tried. Good luck to you, Kyrie. If it does work, then you re-sign him next year and all is right? But if you go and trade for him, you're kind of handcuffed, right? Because the Nets are going to want something. But it should no way should it take one of your first round picks, right? You should be going to the Nets and saying, like, look, you're going to get nothing for Kyrie Irving. Nothing. Wouldn't you rather have something? We'll give you, a pick swap in 2028. There you go. So that's kind of a first round pick if we're terrible and you're good. And then we'll give you, 2 second round picks. We'll take Kyrie Irving off your hands. At least you get something for Kyrie Irving. You get Russell Westbrook. You could buy him out. You could keep him. You could do whatever. You could have him run. You could try it out with this team. Russell Westbrook has been playing great defense. At one point he was number 14 in the league defensively, and he was number 2 amongst guards. I haven't checked that in like a week, so I don't know if it still is at this point. But he's playing, regardless, he's playing solid defense. He's a guy that can come in. He's a guy that'll show up that you can count on night in and night out. Like, you could do worse, right? Especially for 1 year, right? And if at least try it. If it doesn't work, especially now that he's willing to come off the bench, bring him up off the bench, have him run, with the bench unit and stuff. You get that other scorer, Ben Simmons, or you could have him start. Ben Simmons could stay on the bench and have Ben Simmons run with the second unit, whatever. You could make it work if you wanted to, or you just buy him out and at least you got something for Kyrie Irving. The Lakers at that point, got to make a decision, right? If I was the Lakers, I would try to get him an extension immediately, but like I'd try to get him on like $15, $20 million extension. I'd be like, look, dude, you're not going to get a contract anywhere else. Do you really want to try to go out there? Because if you do, it's going to be less. We'll give you like $18 million a year over the next 4 years. You're locked in the next 4 years. And then you got Kyrie on a great deal. If it works out. If it works out, you got Kyrie on probably the best deal in the league, right? He might be the best value player in the league at $18 million. So that's something to keep in mind. You get Myles Turner, you get that shot blocker, which you can then re-sign him as well and extend him, give him 18 to $20 million as well. And then there you go. Now you got Kyrie, LeBron, Davis, and Turner for the next, at least 2 years, if not longer. And then even if LeBron does leave after next year, you still got, Kyrie, Turner, and Anthony Davis. And then you can kind of use LeBron's money to kind of go get other guys, stuff like that. Cap's supposed to go up in 2024, 2025. Could be beneficial, right? I mean, it could make sense. Lakers have to do something. Now, personally, I would rather the Lakers go do the Spurs deal, if I'm being honest. I'd rather them go and do the Spurs deal regardless over getting Kyrie Irving, because I think the Spurs deal opens up so many other doors for potential deals. I think the Spurs deal is what can get you multiple deals, right? Because with the Spurs deal, you could get Jakob Poeltl, and now you got you basically got 3 starting level guys to put around Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Or you could, not take Jakob Poeltl, get a $21 million trade exception, and then go get Myles Turner. Or even if you get Jakob Poeltl, you'd still have a $14 million trade exception that you could go use and get a mid-tier guy, right? So it really could change a lot for the Lakers in that deal and have an overall better impact than Kyrie Irving. But the Lakers seem to want a guy that can really kind of come in and help take the burden off of LeBron and Anthony Davis. Because Anthony Davis and LeBron James, they don't seem like they can carry that workload anymore. They used to be a lock. Like, you just needed, if you had the two of them, you could just get into the playoffs easy. You're at least making the playoffs. Like, you're at worst a 6 seed. And then if you just get half decent guys around them, you're a contender. But that's not the case anymore, right? They need help. And I think Kyrie is a guy that night in and night out can provide that help. Even having several role guys, you still have a lot of pressure on LeBron James and Anthony Davis, because even if you go do the Spurs deal, if LeBron James and Anthony Davis miss a game or just have an off night, you're still probably losing that game. But if you have Kyrie Irving, you have a guy that can go get you 30 plus and kind of carry that load. So if LeBron's having a rough shooting night or a rough scoring night, you have a guy that can just go get you 30, right? I mean, that's beneficial. But I don't know. I mean, the Lakers got to do something. And this is why I kind of wanted to mention this and bring this up, because I wanted to hear your thoughts and opinions on do you think the Lakers should just say, you know what, let's go get Kyrie, right? It's not going to cost us much right now. The Nets, they could do worse, right? Let's go get Kyrie Irving, and then if we can keep our first round picks, go get Myles Turner, and then now you got Myles Turner and Kyrie Irving. Or would you rather Kyrie Irving and the Spurs deal? Maybe I'll even make an individual video on Kyrie and the Spurs deal. We'll talk about that. Maybe that's worth a discussion in and of itself. But anyway, again, as always, I'd love your thoughts and opinions. What do you think? The Lakers, yes, go get Kyrie Irving. Go get him. Don't give up a first. Or, if you have to give up one first. Because I think if you just trade for Myles Turner, you're only going to have to give up one first. Because the Pacers were willing to do 2 firsts and Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. So you got to imagine, if you're not trading them Westbrook and you're giving them Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn, and a first, at least they could try to use those guys. If not, then they could just let them go and buy them out. And it's also a smaller salary. You're buying out $18 million as opposed to, $47 million. So I don't think that the cost for just Myles Turner should be so much. And if you're the Lakers, your argument is you could lose him for nothing. Wouldn't you rather get a first round pick than nothing for Myles Turner? So I think you could get Myles Turner for 1 first. I really do. And then you go trade for Kyrie, keep a first, go trade for Myles Turner. You got Kyrie and Myles Turner added to this team. I think that makes you better than Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. And I think that this is something that can really happen. I think it's something that's realistic. It's not oh, wow, there's no way that this could happen. This makes sense. But would you do this? Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below.